Yamaha's YFZ450R enters the 2016 racing season carrying Pro No. 1 plates from both the Grand National Cross-Country Motocross and Cross Country Racing Series, with factory racers Chad Wienen and Walker Fowler. Not only is the YFZ450R the only true second-generation 450cc class machine, with several rounds of updates since its release in 2009, the YFZ450R is arguably the most refined and updated sport ATV since Yamaha's first-generation YFZ450. In its most recent round of updates in 2014, the engine received a higher compression piston and new cam profile in search of improved low-end snap. The crank received a 0.25mm longer connecting rod and big end bearing for improved durability. A new exhaust was added to improve mid to top end power, with a new ECU, throttle valve, and fuel map, updating the electronics and fuel system. In 2014, the YFZR became the first and only ATV with a factory-installed assist and slipper clutch. New lighter shocks featured revised settings at both ends for better small bump absorption without sacrificing bottoming resistance. New Nicest tires improved handling. The ergonomics were opened up by moving the front fenders forward and the rear fenders back and down. The upper front frame rails were covered for greater comfort. Since its launch in 2009, we've done several track tests of the YFZ450R. Walker Fowler's success in cross-country racing is a reminder that the YFZR was designed for the trail as well as the motocross track. With this in mind, we rounded up a 2016 YFZ450R for our first combination track and trail test of the machine since its launch in 2009, to see how the recently updated machine performs against everything we have to throw at it. ATV On Demand's test of the 2016 Yamaha YFZ450R was made possible by: if your ATV has a performance exhaust, it needs a performance intake to match. Used by champions like Chad Wienen and Walker Fowler, Fuel Customs intakes are engineered and built in the United States with a 100% satisfaction guarantee, providing increased horsepower and throttle response on engine builds from mild to wild. GBC XC Master tires are designed to meet the high endurance demands of cross-country racing and riding, featuring a puncture-resistant 6-ply carcass and a tall X-knob tread pattern, delivering superior traction, handling, and durability in all conditions. Remastered and ready to race, GBC XC Master tires. To put our YFZ450R to the test, we headed to Haspin Acres in Laurel, Indiana to hit the trails, and then to a private motocross track in northern Kentucky. Our test riders included 44-year-old 5'8", 196-pound Rob Ray, a highly experienced play rider and occasional racer accustomed to pushing stock sport ATVs to the limit, and 18-year-old 155-pound Jordan Trimble, who races the C-Class at the ATV Motocross Nationals. The YFZ450R is powered by a 449cc liquid-cooled 4-stroke engine with a large bore and short stroke of 95mm by 63.4mm. An 11.8:1 compression ratio is comparably high, but still allows for the use of premium pump gas. Its double overhead cam uses 5 valves, 3 intake and 2 exhaust, with lightweight titanium valves to reduce reciprocating mass for faster revving. Electric start brings the engine to life. It fires right up and warms up quickly. A Yamaha fuel injection system delivers air and fuel via a 42mm throttle body. Yamaha developed the YFZ450R's gnarly 5-speed manual transmission to withstand the stress of high horsepower modifications. Its unique assist and slipper clutch uses a ramp design and 3-spring setup. The ramp design increases clutch plate pressure under acceleration, while allowing the clutch to disengage and slip a bit during compression braking. The said benefits are better suspension action in braking bumps and lighter clutch pull. In stock form, the YFZ450R runs impressively well, although you can tell it leaves some horsepower potential on the table to meet emission standards. At lower RPMs, the engine runs decently, without as much of the jittery feeling that stock Hondas and older carbureted YFZs emitted. Its low-end smoothness helps on the trail. Being a 450 though, you can't easily lug your way up steep hills or over obstacles like an old-school 4-stroke. The YFZR's engine is for the most part a corked-up race motor, so it likes to turn RPMs. The motor starts pulling hard in the lower mid-range, feeling unstoppable as you rev well into the top end. Power starts tapering off a bit before the rev limiter kicks in, so it's best for lap times and reliability to upshift before you start bouncing off the rev limiter. Working in the top half of the power, the YFZR rips out of turns, allowing you to choose between powering through or holding adrift, with plenty of snap to rip the rear end loose and pitch it sideways on command. Even stock, the YFZ450R's fast revving engine produces enough horsepower to clear most jumps at almost any given track. Attacking hills on the track and trail are no problem. Just keep the engine in the mid-range and up, and hold on. Thanks to the manufacturers being forced to run their engines super lean right off idle to meet emission standards, the YFZ has a slight hesitation right off idle, which you hardly notice when riding. It flared out a couple of times when hitting the gas right off idle under 5 miles per hour, when there was no forward momentum to keep the engine churning. It kind of reminded us of riding a carbureted 450 before fuel injection made them nearly stall-proof. Adding an aftermarket fuel management system like the Dynajet Power Commander 5, available through Yamaha's GYTR accessory catalog, will take care of the lean bottom end, and should yield more horsepower even with the stock exhaust. The transmission's gear ratios are near perfection. First gear is low enough for tighter, slower trail sections without the need to abuse the clutch. There were no annoying gaps between the gears, making it easy to keep the engine in the meat of its broad power band. Clutch pull is extremely light, thanks to the assistant slipper clutch. Its slipping effect is light. While it may reduce the effect of roots and braking bumps on the drivetrain and suspension under deceleration a bit, it definitely doesn't fully eliminate the 450's mild-mannered compression braking, which we feel is a good thing. A unique hybrid aluminum and steel frame uses cast aluminum throughout, attached to steel lower frame rails, providing added durability while allowing the engine to be mounted lower in the chassis. Yamaha uses a lightweight removable aluminum subframe and a light yet strong cast aluminum swing arm. The KYB shocks are some of the nicest stock shocks to ever adorn a mass-produced ATV. The massive shocks feature preload, high and low speed compression, and rebound damping adjustment. They're the only production ATV shocks on the market featuring Kashima coating, reducing friction and component wear. Suspension travel is ample for recreational riding and most levels of racing, with 9.8 inches front and 11 inches out back. 21/710 front and 20/10-9 rear Maxxis tires developed for the YFZR are mounted on lightweight aluminum wheels. The YFZ450R is low and wide, measuring in at a track-friendly width once considered too wide for trail riding at 48.8 inches wide, with a 50-inch wheelbase and a low seat height of 31.9 inches. Designed to withstand the abuse of racing, the YFZ450R is a bit heavier than some of its 450cc predecessors at 405 pounds, although the weight is well disguised thanks to the machine's low center of gravity. Right out of the box, the shocks eat jump landings, hammer straight through rollers, and resist body roll like motocross racing suspension should. Whether we came up a little short or overshot a jump, the KYB shocks never bottomed hard or bounced and deflected. They always seem to do an admirable job of sticking our riders sometimes in perfect landings. Negotiating deep whoops, the shocks did a good job of absorbing impacts and recovering quickly, keeping the machine tracking straight. On rooted or rocky trail sections and even small chop on the track, the shocks feel a little harsh in stock trim. We backed out on the shocks' high and low speed compression and rebound damping, greatly improving small bump compliance and allowing us to better hold a line. The shocks seem to be set up ideally for a 180 to 200 pound rider. Rob could easily race motocross locally with these shocks and soften them up enough to hit the trail with decent comfort and control. The shocks are perhaps a bit too firm for riders under 160 pounds on rough wooded trails, and cross-country racers will most likely want softer springs and different internal valving. The shocks' massive size and excellent component quality make them ideal for an aftermarket tuner to work with, yielding aftermarket shock performance at a fraction of the price of new shocks. It's impossible to build shocks that will serve every rider's weight and use, but as stock suspension goes, the YFZ450R suspension is the best we've experienced in the 450cc class to date. With a maximum race legal width of 50 inches for motocross, the 48.8-inch wide YFZR is wide enough to win races on the track. The 20-inch low-profile Maxxis tires work well on sandy rutted tracks or heavy loamy tracks where taller tires help. With a simple switch to 18-inch rear tires, the YFZR is ready to go on most typical motocross tracks, where a low center of gravity is more important than ground clearance. The 20-inch rear tires are the minimum standard size for a trail machine, offering enough ground clearance to get around most trails without getting hung up. With most of today's trails being cut 60 inches wide for the cagers, the low and wide YFZR enjoys super stable performance on off-camber trails, while still enjoying plenty of room to maneuver in most sections. We might as well point out that wider is also generally better for the dunes as well. The only drawbacks we saw to the YFZR in the woods were that its broader width sometimes made it more difficult to pick the smoothest possible line compared to a narrower machine. And in stock form, it's a bit too wide for GNCC racing. High-speed stability is rock solid on flat straights or hammering through whoops. Launching off jumps, the YFZ flies straight and is well balanced in the air. In stock form, the YFZR steering is relatively light and accurate. Some highly sensitive racers have noticed a tiny flaw in the machine's steering. The A-arm's caster increases slightly as the suspension goes through its travel. This has a small impact on steering feeling and accuracy in extremely tight rough corners when running soft aftermarket shocks. It may have also had some impact on our 2010 motocross shootout, where the YFZ450R took fourth in steering accuracy, just prior to setting the fastest lap times. Overall, steering feeling and accuracy are quite good, although Texeratech and Walsh Racecraft both claim they can make it even better with their adjustable upper A-arms that provide consistent caster throughout the suspension stroke. Hydraulic disc brakes with dual piston calipers are found at both ends. A wave-style rear rotor is used for improved cooling. Braking power and feel are superb. The YFZ stops fast with light pressure needed front or rear. The action is progressive, easy to modulate, and power is abundant. We charged our tracks downhill with confidence, knowing we had the stopping power necessary to make the turn at the bottom. No matter where you ride, you can't ask for much better brakes. The YFZ450R's lower seat and handlebar height put you in the attack position, while the opened-up cockpit offers plenty of room to move around. The seat is flat and firm enough, allowing for easy movement, while providing decent comfort for a machine focused on racing. Massive 2.6-inch wide foot pegs offer race-ready comfort, traction, and stability for your feet. 4-position adjustable handlebar clamps allow you to move the bars forward or rearward. There's also an adjustable reach brake lever, all helping you to dial in the cockpit for maximum comfort and control. Fit, finish, and quality of construction are superb as always, and the machine is littered with features to ease maintenance for competitors. Grease fittings allow for easy lubrication of the chassis' moving parts. Quick-release fasteners allow for the removal and reinstallation of bodywork in minutes. Toolless removal of the air filter allows for quick servicing. However, we would like the addition of a flange where the filter meets up against the side of the airbox, allowing for the use of a clamp-on style filter for added security. Yamaha offers an accessory billet flange and clamp-on filter setup through their GYTR catalog. We'd also like to see Yamaha use the same type of flat textured plastic used on the side panels on the bottom of the lower rear fenders to reduce the appearance of scratches from boot wear. Right out of the box, the YFZ450R is sort of the ultimate play racer that can rip it up on the track or the trail. Arguably, no other 450 in history could do both as well. It offers tremendous versatility for building a machine that can win championships in the woods or on the track for local racers and pros alike. While some will balk at the machine's $8,899 price tag, you get what you pay for. In this case, it's a recently highly updated second-generation machine that's borderline race-ready, and frankly, hardly more expensive than a 450cc dirt bike. We too see the need for a price point-focused sport ATV that adults will want to own and ride, but the YFZ450R isn't that machine. The 2016 Yamaha YFZ450R is for the serious sport ATV enthusiast. Looking for a machine providing the shortest distance between the dealer showroom floor and the checkered flag? Whether you're racing the Nationals or just racing your friends. For more information on the Yamaha YFZ450R and their full line of high-performance sport ATVs, log on to YamahaMotorsports.com.